In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Okay, we actually go to page 11 and talk about substitution and ellipsis. First of all, let us talk about substitution. In order to understand substitution, let us go and read page 11, little boxes, okay? Which is a kind of song, okay? It says, little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tacky, little boxes, little boxes, all the same. There are green one, there's a green one, and there is a pink one, and the blue one, and the yellow one, and they are all made of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same. Well, actually, in this paragraph, you see words like little boxes, etc., etc. And somewhere in the middle, you see the word one, etc. Okay, repeated like this. Okay, so what does one refer to? Line, let's say, line, for example, line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One refers to little boxes. And there's another one out there in the same line, which is again one. Again refers back to the one, to the beginning of the paragraph, little boxes. Okay. So the word one is a substitute word. Is a substitute word which binds the sentence, the paragraph, the text together, and at the same time avoids repetition. Okay. So substitution is like this. There's a nicer little paragraph down there, okay? A children's poem, okay, on page 11, which says something like this. The polar bear is unaware of cold that cuts me through. Okay? Polar bear, a dangerous animal. Dub, I suppose, in Arabic. Bear, khers in Farsi, if they are, in fact, people from Afghanistan. Khers, okay, in Farsi, and dub in Arabic. The polar bear is unaware of the cold that cuts me through. It's so cold that I understand it's so cold, but the polar bear actually loves it. Maybe in your documentaries you see that the polar bear goes down inside the water and which is full of ice, full of snow, okay? And he enjoys it. He enjoys it, okay? So the children's poem says something like this. The polar bear is unaware of cold that cuts me through. For why? He has a coat of hair. Okay? I wish I had one too. Okay? A coat of hair. A coat of hair. Okay? A covering of hair which covers its body, her body, his body, the body of bear. In Fosshai we call it dub. Okay? Well, I wish I had one. I suppose it is called dub. I suppose they use it. Yeah, I've heard something like this. Maybe it is called dub, but in Farsi we call it khers. For those of you who are actually Persian speakers. Anyway, the word one, the last line, and the last line refers to a coat of bear, which is a substitute word. Let's go to page 12. There's another example on page 12. Self-confidence should not be a great gender issue. It is not related to men or women. Boys are not born more confident than girls. Okay? Now, society makes them so. This is a substitution. Society makes whom? Girls. So, society makes girls to become like that. Society makes the girls to be like that. Okay, girls, instead you have got so, or the makes them so go all together actually refers to, in fact, a kind of substitution. All together again, like that. As we say, we understand, line below it, we understand. Makes them so means something makes them more confident than girls. So what did we do? We use the word so to refer to one big part of a sentence, like makes them more confident than girls, of the verb phrase of the sentence. Okay? So is a substitute. The word so is a substitute for a big part of the sentence. A big part of the sentence. Let's call it the verb phrase. You remember the verb phrase in the previous, in fact, course with me. Okay, it's a substitute for a verb phrase is so. A substitute for the noun phrase is them, etc., etc. Okay, this is like substitution. So there's another kind of cohesion, a context in the context, cohesion in the context in the form of substitution. When you substitute one word with another, like one with the polar bear, like one on page 11 with little boxes, or with makes them so, the word so with a noun phrase, we say these elements are in fact substitute words. And they're good for the students to know, for the students of English to know, for your students to know that these are good words to use. Okay? The next one is ellipsis. First of all, what does ellipsis mean? What does ellipsis mean? Okay? Ellipsis means something like dropping off an element outside the sentence. Deleting. Ellipsis means deleting. Throwing something away from your sentence. But let us see what it looks like. Just see. The other form of line 1, the other form of grammatical cohesion is ellipsis. Take a look at this snatch from Catch-22, a famous World War II novel. Okay? He's afraid of you. You're serious, sad. He's afraid of you're going to die. He's afraid you're going to die of pneumonia. Pneumonia, actually, when you've got coronavirus, nobody, I hope, inshallah, nobody gets coronavirus, okay? Infected with coronavirus. The result is that your riya, okay, we call it the shosh in Farsi, is infected, riya, okay? Riyawi. Well, infected with bacteria or viruses. So the result is pneumonia, the disease of the line. Okay? He'd better be afraid. Line 2. Chief White Half-out said. A deep low laugh rumbled through his massive chest. I will too. What does the word too here mean? I will too means I will die of pneumonia. This is ellipsis. We actually don't say anything like die of pneumonia. Simply why? Because we use the word to. The word to is elliptical. Why? It helps us say that there was an element or some elements of the sentence which are out and we understand it. Elliptical elements are like this. They avoid repetition and makes the sentence again. They makes the text hang together, which we call it. The result is cohesion. Okay, so this is another example. Well, if you actually go down this line, actually line 1, 2, 3, actually you see line 3 below it on page 12, it says, just like substitution, ellipsis avoids repetition and depends on the hearer of or readers being able to receive the missing words from the surrounding context. This is the way. In the next paragraph, in the next conversation between two 16-year-old female students, line 1, the last line, we say, oh, the last line. Cartonia says actually, oh, last night, repeat it once more, he was as well. This he was as well refers back to the elements outside, which is again elliptical. We don't repeat that part of the sentence, and you can see it like this. So line below it actually says he was as well means he was saying stuff that was really pretty well sick as well. Okay, so that was really pretty well sick as well. I actually read it badly. Okay, so instead of all these things, we say he was as well. He was as well, which is as well is another example of ellipsis. So the text is elliptical. It means that part of it is deleted, missing, dropped, but understood. It is mentioned implicitly, not explicitly. Okay? It's like this. Even in the literature, we have got ellipsis. Okay? Everywhere you can have ellipsis or don't. It's easy for you to just read examples in the literature. Well, and in the conversations between people actually that are, let's say, ellipsis. So suppose one character says, how are things with you? How are things with you, if I may ask, sir? And the answer is, my boy's sick. My boy's sick. And measles. Measles is a kind of disease that affects children. Okay, measles. And mumps is another one. Measles is another one. Mumps is another. Affects actually children. Okay, kids. So my boy's sick. Measles. Measles. When you say my boy is sick and say measles, you mean he's got measles. But you don't say the word he's got. You simply say measles. My boy's sick. Measles means my boy is sick and he has got measles. But you don't say he is got. Why? Because it is elliptical. Well, so we understood, and that another type of thing about grammatical cohesion is ellipsis. When we drop out one element, the result is that we put another element like one, like as well, like so, etc., and that part is elliptical. Okay, so it binds again another kind of cohesion to the sentence. It binds the sentence together, or the paragraph together, or the, let's say, text together. Now back to the end of page 12 and the beginning of page 13. Let us see. There's an example of ambiguity, where we don't understand what it means simply because of ellipsis. Let us see. So we have to avoid line 1 of the last paragraph, ambiguity. And line 3 of the paragraph actually says confusion. We are supposed to have no ambiguity, and we are supposed to have we are not supposed to make confusion. Okay, there's an example with ambiguity which results in confusion. Let us see. 2 lines to the bottom. There's an ad, I suppose, in a kind of newspaper which reads like this. 2 lines, about 2 lines. There's a newspaper ad for selling a home. Okay, selling a home. Let's see. For sale, very unique home in downtown Craigsville. Craigsville is the name of the city. Large lot means a big piece of land. Many trees, and there are many trees in this piece of land. Just look. One you will enjoy living in. Okay, this is a kind of advertisement quoted by Richard Lederer in his more anguished English as an example of confusion, as an example of ambiguity. Okay, let us see. The advertisement, actually, the last line says, reads strangely because of the fact that since one you will enjoy living it, we don't know whether it refers to the home or the tree. You live in a tree or you live in a home. So this advertisement is ambiguous. Why? We don't know whether we live in the tree or we live in the home, because there are 2 types of meanings. It is, in fact, a kind of ambiguity. Remember, ambiguity must be, in fact, disambiguated. We have to put the ambiguity out of the text anyway. And many times, actually, in our conversation, we have to be very clear, but there are times that we need to refer to the elements inside. Why? Because there are some types of documents, like legal documents, okay? في قسم القانون, let's say, في قسم القانون, okay, in the part of the university that deals with the law, okay. In Farsi we call it حقوق, in English, in Arabic you call it قانون, and in English they say law, L-A-W. So finally on page 13, we say something like this. It should be noted that, page 13, line 1 of the new paragraph. It should be noted that the use of grammatical cohesion varies from genre to genre. In some genres, we are not supposed to have, in fact, ellipses. In others, we do need, okay? So, varies from genre to genre. It is much less likely in occur in texts which strive to be completely unambiguous. Like what? Such as legal texts. Okay? Nususul, maybe I am I'm not very good at Arabic. Nususul qanuniya, maybe, I don't know. Legal text. متون حقوقی in فارسی. متون حقوقی نصوص القانونية. نصوص القانونية, maybe, I don't know. Or some kinds of instruction texts. You remember earlier when you had smartphones? You didn't know how to work with. You actually went to the net in order to see how actually it works. Or there are problems with your computer, with your, let's say, smartphone. What do? You ask others. You don't know. You go to the net and find. When you go to the net and find how to solve the problem, those types of text must be without ambiguity. Or there is a kind of machine that you have bought. Okay? You have bought a special kind of, let's say, machine. You don't know how to operate it. You go to, in fact, the user's manual, written in different languages, Arabic, English, blah, 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 other languages, Farsi. Those texts must be without ambiguity if there are, in fact, elliptical elements there. Okay, that's it. Finished it. We talked about the three types of ambiguities up to the beginning of lexical. We talked about the three types of grammatical cohesion. Now, on page 13, we are going to continue with, in fact, lexical cohesion. Well, we just stop on page 13 and finish the discussion maybe for this week. Maybe, I don't know. Thank you very much.